I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen next, but I damn well want to know. One and all, welcome back to Infraction. There's a good reason you want to hang around here, because Recon is a reformed boy. No longer does he seek out that late game that we all know and 9 out of 10 times hate, 1 out of 10 times truly love. On the other side, less reformed is Roger Scruton. This is Kaiser Johann, a player that we know is no stranger to late games. In fact, he often seeks them out. He's a bit of a dirty boy himself, and he is playing the English here. So it's going to have to pose the question, isn't it? A matchup where English are overwhelmingly favored for the Lombo push early on against Zhu. Do we see that? Or do we get a messier late phase of the game where Zhu actually might have a bit more bite than we've been giving them credit for? Why? Have you guys been watching maybe a certain Bald Master right now of his monks? Have you guys been watching Divine Defense and its variability with bombards? This Civ actually, surprisingly enough, has a little bit more potency in the late game than I think was apparent at first. And I'm kind of curious to see if we get there. We are going to be on Rocky River for this showdown. Actually been a while since I've watched some Rocky River, so it's kind of refreshing to see it. I think it's one of my favorite maps. There are some things I don't like about it that can make it feel oppressive. I kind of wish that the ponds were shallow water so you could walk across them, because usually you can get these kind of like stone wall-offs that kind of get a little bit oof. But maybe at that point it would just become a little bit too like Dry Arabia. Anyway, Meditation Guard is going to be coming out. This is usually a really good map for Zhu for this detail. You can actually go towards the center of the map and get some really broken spawns. Unfortunately, it looks like Recon never scouted for it. Oh, that's such a shame. Oh my god, guys, he could have got, what was that, 72 food and 50 stone over here. I think he would have got all of it as well. That's actually a shame. That would have been an absolute jackpot. Instead, he's going to have to settle for 25 stone, probably about 35 wood. And then I believe we have got 42 food. Just still a pretty respectable landmark. And you tend to get a lot of these on Rocky River, I've noticed. It's actually one of the few maps on land in the standard format where Medigarden still feels good. In fact, Zhu right now have been looking pretty broken in tournament play because a lot of the maps you see there have very desirable spawns. The kinds that just kind of push all these resources together so that you can get maximum gain out of the Meditation Garden landmark. Abbey of Kings now coming in, as is a typical, it looks like it is a 2TC build. Okay, so Recon isn't just going to die to Lombo Fire. And it looks like he's going for a TC himself. Interesting. In that case, let's set the 2 times because we can already see how this is going to trend then. The King is going to be a little bit annoying, but if you think about it, usually you want to do condensed TC anyway, right? So it shouldn't hurt them too much. Why does nobody use Pro Scouts on this map and take all the deer to the map, to the base? It's not bad of an idea, right? Like, it's 3 deer per site, and it ends up being more than what you get on a standard map, right? Because you get the 7/7, and then essentially 2 of these stacks is almost the other 7, right? So you are right, there's additional game there. I think the problem is because all the deer are condensed to one location, it would make you predictable and easier to counter. Because remember, whenever you go Pro Scouts, when you try to drag those back, you're going to be very slowly. I think that's the big problem. It's not just that Pro Scouts is expensive, it's that because you are playing into predictable areas, someone can counter you in one location very fast, right? Whereas like when you do Pro Scouts on a Dry Arabia, you can usually get your deer quite safely, but then you take one of your opponent's deer, which is worth 7, and they can't react because there's like deer locations are on usually separate sides of the map sometimes. You don't really get the same effect here, per se. You kind of share those locations, right? Second TC up, and wait, are we getting free TC? After I praised Rico, I was like, he's not a boomer boy anymore. He does so many different things. I mean, in fairness, the English TC build kind of puts you in this position, right? Like, you can't mass Chiganu because your opponent can just react Lombos, and it's GG. But it looks like he's going to react Lombos anyway, right? Like, he has to when he sees free TC. He doesn't want to turn this into a TC race, because actually that's something English lose out on. They win with the first TC because the King sets the pace. But the whole idea is if you keep scaling TCs, the Zhu build those much quicker. They've got this passive resource trickling in, and they have the Imperial officials giving 20% more in drop-off, right? So they'll always beat you out there. king. Oof. That was close. 5 HP actually does stay alive. Missed opportunity, actually. That newly spawned villager rather could have garrisoned there. He would have got the kill. That could have been huge because then he could contest this. Instead, over time, this Medigarden could be ran down. So Recon is going to need to get a reaction. Looks like we have got this Yangnan Tower now coming. So the third TC is going to be decently discounted here. Remember, Song Dynasty giving you a nice little discount to the overall cost. God, it used to be so insane as well, right? It was 40% at one stage, right? I'm trying to remember now. It feels like a blast from the past. It was 40, right? And then I think they brought it down to 30 now. Kind of insane that it ever started with 40 in the first place. Oh no, they were doing it early game all the time with that build. And then people discovered the fast castle was just as broken. Basically, like, Meditation Garden was the biggest problem. But Medigarden kind of got just fixed by the fact that now you can burn it down without threat. If you guys remember, there used to be a bug with Meditation Garden where if you destroyed it and someone rebuilt it, it doubled the resources. It basically, what would happen is every time it was rebuilt, it would check the area for what's around it and then calculate again and add on to the previous. Free TC. I'm sorry, are we watching a Crackety replay? Triple archery range. I'm loving this right now. It's kind of funny, right? Because we thought that Recon was going to try to play aggro, and we thought that it was going to be Roger Scruton being very defensive. They're playing it the correct way, though, the other way around. Proof that sometimes you have to overlook your playstyles. Longbow's massing up, but we've got Horseman Palace Guard creeping. And I love this as well. He went for the Jiangnan Tower, which means, remember, every time he builds a production building, you get a nice tax rebate of 80 or 120 resources, because it pumps a unit for free. Lombow's now showing up. I mean, if he just camps here, it's going to mitigate a decent amount of resources from his opponent. Farms are coming in very early, but that is the power of Song, right? Even after nerfs, it's still a 30% discount. So the whole logic is by the time you have 3 granaries, you've paid what you would for 2. God damn, I need to become a millionaire so I can actually buy a house away from a train track. So, Ram is coming in. Is this going to work, though? Because, I mean, Recon already has melee units coming out, and he is already prioritizing into Palace Guard, which should be able to clear this up. Then again, like, I remember the early days watching Juji versus English. Palace Guard would lose to Lombos time and time again. And the fact that Recon has neglected his blacksmiths entirely is leaning me in favor of the English here. He actually needs Undermesh ASAP. Double ram reveal coming through a Recon. Might feel confident at first, but the moment he clicks on those Lombos and sees the +1/+1, he's going to go a little bit blue here. A little bit too blue in the face. Even for a Civ that's picked blue. Plus ram does get struck down, though. He's actually like frontline with the king a bit to buy a little bit of time for the Lombos here. Horsemen's are going to dive in. What is going... No, 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 Roger, no! He's A-clicking on the Medigarden! Are you kidding me? The reinforcing Lombos weren't coming in quick enough here. Oh my god, now Recon up to 8 Palace Guard. This is going to fall apart quickly if Roger Scruton's not careful. Undermesh is already in. It's even worth going for the melee damage increase at this stage. You have 9 base damage, +1 means a lot here. There's a 10 Lombos versus 1 horse, 6 Palace. I mean, that's not true. Like, you start with 4 horsemen, right? The problem is, like, the numbers are deceptive because I'm pretty sure... yeah, I think there was multiple areas where, like, the Lombos were staggered here. He's remassing. He's bringing villages full this time, so we are going to get an outpost crawl. Now, the one thing that's kind of scary is if you look at these two players and they eventually upgrade their army, I favor Zhuji's, right? Like, longbows are strong in castles, sure, but the idea of just all of a sudden upgrading 30 Palace Guard to their real form scares me a lot more than 30 longbows. And arms now getting added in. I mean, I guess he feels he needs something, but that just feels grim here. I'd rather see Spearmen. Like, your opponent hasn't built any archers. Spearmen makes a lot of sense. It means that you can't just get countered by mass horsemen. And remember, if Roger screws up once here, he's pretty much dead. Not just because of how expensive his army is, but because his opponent does have an eco lead, and a substantial one at that. Horseman Palace Guard stabbing in. Oh, are you kidding me? He's getting baited. Recon, like, this is not the group to focus on. Go for the blob. Finally gets in on it. I can't believe that. I can't believe he was getting baited like that. This is much better. If he kept just goosing around with those free lombos, it would have ended badly. But now, it's only going to end well. 15 Palace Guard and surging. And this game might just be over. Roger Scruton needs to rush Castle Age right now with White Tower. It's the only way out here. And it's going to need to be where? On the tree line? Probably right here. Roger, this is taking too long. Asgard just keep on chasing back. There's a big difference in movement speed, remember. 1.38 compared to 1.12. Instead, Roger, he's not going for the tech. Oh, Roger, no. The level of miss macro and indecisiveness here is hurting me. Roger, he got baited back into investing in feudal after he fully planned to go Castle Age here. Half in, half out, right? And look at what Recon's done in the meantime. He's gone outside the base, the north side. He's going to go Castle Age ahead of him. Ay, ay, ay. And what, Shaolin Monastery here, I imagine, going straight for relics. I think Roger got bogged down in the micro of the fights too much. Way too much here. His timings also just felt a little bit off. It always felt, even with that longbow play earlier on that backfired, it kind of felt like he was aiming for something else. Maybe he's a bit worried that his opponent was being overly greedy, but I mean, when you go for the Song Dynasty like this, you can afford to be a bit more greedy with Zhuji, right? That discount does enable you that way. Shaolin would be a bad choice. Do you not like relics? Crackety, why do you not like relics? Why are you so against the Zhuji having trinkets? Shaolin Monastery is fine here. You want the monk straight away, and also you have surplus food, not gold. I gotta disagree on that, Crackety. I think the food element matters a lot. Because he can afford a lot more food than he can afford gold right now, right? And like gold, reliable gold access is going to be limited. Personally, I'm fine with it. I think Mountain Academy does get slept on a lot. I'll agree with that, but I think Shaolin Monastery, especially with the timing here, it just ramps you straight into relic gathering ASAP. Also, you have kind of a cool knock-on effect here now, right, with Mountain Academy. Like, it's still worth going back for that to get the discount. Actually, in fairness, they're not the worst of fighters when your opponent is massing longbows, so it does give you a little bit extra DPS in the engagements. Okay, so there's a problem with what you just said there, Crackety. It's the logic, like, you're spending even more gold, though. Because, like, I'm reading all those things and thinking gold, 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 right? So that skews your monastery time, right? Keep drop now coming in. I think, personally, like, it makes sense for the fact he already has a full farm transition. That's my take on it. Because like at that stage, you have so much food, you're not even getting the full value out of Mountain Academy because you don't need food that badly, right? And I think the play from this type of position is to go fast into your Yuan Dynasty anyway. Because you want to just rush the relics, and then when they come back to the drop, pagoda them anyway. Boom. Yeah, Mount Lu now on the way. First relic already dropped off. Looks like the central one's going to be guarded, but north side relic should be going the way of recon, so wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at a 4 relic grab here. Although Roger Scrun is trying to contest this. First relic already now on the way home. Yeah, I get the idea of like the production speed being quite nice. I just think recon with this type of... Yeah, you just do this instead. Like, you don't need to waste time supervising one building. I'd agree. Like, it's kind of similar to that logic. Like, some of these things that you get out of the Mount Lu Academy kind of have the same overarching value as Shaolin Monastery, right? The things like the increased supervision, as an example. At this stage in the game, when he's 125 eco, or 120, 110, whatever it is at the time, you can just inflate an insane number of racks. You think you go siege here? I feel like you don't rush siege though, right? Against English who are playing White Tower, like they can actually spam siege out quite quickly. Oh god, Roger, no. Roger, no. Oh, no. I get that he means you supervise the upgrades, but he said Siege Workshop as well. Yeah. Like, I get it for the upgrades, but definitely, like, for the siege element, it's not as valuable, right? I guess Recon just didn't think there was going to be a fight, though. And in fairness, like, if you look at it from Recon's perspective against the English, he doesn't want to dive the English anyway. No, I get you, Crackety, but my point is, like, on the... If you don't think Roger's going to attack, you probably shouldn't be attacking an English player at the start of Castle anyway, right? So I think his thought process is he just wants to go straight for relics as quickly as possible, and his perception is that Shaolin Monastery allows him to do that quicker. Now, I do think that you could have Shaolin Monastery and still went for a normal monastery as well. That would have given you the quickest like gathering rate, because then you're leveraging both resources. Yeah, the funny thing is we said at the start that we thought it was going to be a long game and that Kaiser Johann wasn't going to attack. In fairness to him, he did try to attack. It didn't work out very well, though. I do love that we're actually seeing Mount Lu, though. I genuinely think of all the landmarks that you have for Shuji, this is like probably the most underrated one. People just forget to get it all the time. So many value points, right? The extra 2 officials is incredible. The movement speed alone can make it worth it on a civ that needs so much taxation. The only thing that I think is a bit underwhelming right now is military affairs. In theory, good, but in practice, very hard to execute. Stone gathering in the center. So Recon likely going to, start stonewalling up the map. This is a popular play when you know it's going to go deep because it's actually a very efficient map to fully stonewall, as you only have to do these sections. And I know someone's going to bring up the idea, but KP, the transport ship play. Yes, that is incredible, darling, but also a very rare play. It doesn't often come out. The problem with transport ship plays is in theory it's good, but when you're in the late game and you're just pumping, 40+ units a minute, it feels really annoying and suboptimal to have to like pay attention to a transpo ship and then, micro over 16 and then bring them back and then micro over 16 again, right? It's just not a fun experience. Yeti now on the way. We have got network of citadels coming in. I don't like English when they do this. It's gonna be a late game, right? If he'd just gone for Wingard, I'd actually put my money on the English right now. Because they have some solid plays at that point, right? Like the Footmoon are insanely tanky. Rangers are very powerful. I mean, the Wingard Raiders actually would have given you a swell point to go out and attack your opponent. Instead, we've got your classic me English Beefeaters and Pew Pew Bows. Me not move. Enemy come to me and me slow Zog Zog in. It's just not a good fit. And why the Good God. Recon just getting fish and chips every night of the week right now. 11,000 food. Now you're probably wondering, why did I click on this game? Anyway. Wait, let's speed up a bit closer to live as we can. Because this is going to be one of those, we have 40,000 resources each game. No, don't judge me. It has a Zhuji pick. When does Zhuji ever bother with late game against English? Recon is kind of messing up though, right? Because he never built pagodas. Oh, he did. Oh, sorry, he did. He's got them. I just don't know where. They're not pumping monks though, which is kind of surprising. Zhuji library now on the way though. You know what I really need, guys? You know what's really missing in this type of game? I really, really, really want to see some dynastic protectors. We never get them. Zhuji Chuganu? Chuganu can be decent, yeah. I still think that you Chuganu and then you Shalom Monk front line, right? And then you use Divine Haste. That's kind of nuts when you think about it. Men at Arms on the back line, just being a little bit annoying. I do think that a lot of people are sleeping on the cannons, though. The Bombards, Cloud's Terror with Divine Defense is surprisingly effective. Not in this matchup. I don't think it's worth it, but there are quite a few where it can be good. SB starting to come out, though. Ooh. I mean, actually, with this type of economy, like, why are we overthinking this, guys? He's building Palace Guard. I'd rather just see Shalom Monk plus Nesta Bees, but this can work too. That's a big flood. Palace Guard coming through. Nesta Bees were left exposed. And let the trade out begin. Roger. Oh, no. All right, so front line got wiped out. Roger needs a reboot fast. How's he looking on gold long term? He's got the 3K here. He's moved out flank already, but he hasn't secured it. He's guaranteeing there's no trade, which is sensible. I mean, right now you're looking going, why would you be worried about trade against Zhuji? It's not that he's worried about trade against Zhuji. It's that he's worried about trade against Recon. Asgard now on the move, though. And those aren't stone walls. Uh-oh. Actually, like, Men at Arms lose this matchup. And the reason they lose it is because they can't catch their target. Like, with Divine Haste, you just ignore him. Ming Dynasty has been activated as well. The damage increase is absurd. Right now, these guys hit for 23 damage per strike. Men at Arms can't really match that, right? 18 damage. They have got the attack speed to try and eclipse it, plus the extra armor. But the problem right now are the numbers. The Zhuji Zerg are swarming. And if he just peels off half these guys and goes hunting for the economy, this is all over. On he goes towards the farmlands here. Roger still sitting on about 5k reserve food, but may actually run out of reserves quite fast. He starts getting loaded up like this. Recon, more troops just trickling across. I mean, this is absurd. 1.58 movement speed. This is not reasonable in either China or Zhuji. Lucky they don't have Imperial Palace? True. Although I don't think it matters when there's nothing left to grab. A lot of idle eco on the flanks, even if they don't die. Key drops everywhere from Roger Scruton to try and survive in his own base. But I'm starting to feel like even if he does survive this, there's not much resource left on the map that he can grab here. Right? This is definitely just going one way. I hate Palace. You know, the move speed on these units is still quite frankly out of this world absurd. 1.58 movement speed on a unit that has that much armor, that much effective HP. And costs half of what a knight does. Right? Like that, I think that's fundamentally the issue of how Palace Guard function, right? Is they are a sustainable two-legged heavy cav unit. A knight would cost you 4 times as much gold to build. Food, I don't care. Like, food is eternal, right? It's always just been the gold detail that makes these units so worth it. Now, having said that, KJ has started to get an army together here. We're back up to 35 men-at-arms. The problem is he's been found on the flank. So long-term, I'm now looking at this as a gold game, right? And long-term, that's where you're going to be a little bit hard stuck. Like, gold trickle was quite nice to a certain degree, but I imagine we should be moving towards something a bit more gold-heavy soon from Recon. Most notably would be Nesta B's play here. Have we actually had any unique text, by the way? No, it's just been sitting here. This type of game? Maybe you do just go for the bombards. I mean, hell, like, I hate it when people do this with this type of game. Just get advanced administration, at least. Oh, look at that. Recon is going to bank Nesta Bs. I've never seen this before. No, you don't get 10,000. You don't get the 10,000 bolts. That doesn't affect Nesta Bs. Don't you just love watching Palace Guard fight? The sad part is Roger doesn't know just how dead he is yet, but he's about to discover. Remember when he had almost 10,000 food in reserve? I don't think Roger remembers those days anymore because that just kind of depresses him. He's pretty much struggling to just keep this up now. Meanwhile, Recon is still sitting there with over 6,000 food in reserve. It just shows you how much better the Palace Guard are trading here. Yeah, the biggest problem I'm seeing for Red, like, Roger should have actually just built some stone walls and taken a slow approach. Like, he's fighting without aura. It's an even fight when you have aura. When you don't, you lose. In fact, I'd say it's even a favorable fight for the English when they have aura, right? Armor-clad, offsetting some of the value of Ming Dynasty, then the attack speed of 40%, naturally more armor anyway. Like, you definitely favored, but now the Nesta B's arriving. This is where it gets annoying. The Nesta Rees have come. Roger's going to soft reset here. Going to try to get some outposts up. Looks like we'll keep drops on the east side. So more gold in the pocket of Recon, the greedy boy. Nesta B's uncounted here. It's so difficult against Palace Guard as well, right? Like, how do you even get on top of them? You can't because of this. The movement speed just so fast, allowing you to always just body block out. Guaranteeing that you're just going to get massacred. Okay, so here's the thing. Nesta Bs, when you watch them fight like this, is the equivalent of a guy with like a machine gun just waving it around, shooting everything everywhere, right? It's that Family Guy meme of the guy running away, shooting over his shoulders. And he's probably still hitting everyone. It's so stupid when you watch these things fight. Like, you know, we sit here and we go, what are Nesta B's real weakness? You can only build so many of them. You can only build about 63 of them. Very, very important. Or 66, rather. You know, that's their weakness, guys. They're limited by population. This is over. I just don't see how you can test this. Like, I think the dumber part as well is we often talk about Chinese Nesta Bs being OP for health. Can we just stop and think about Ming Dynasty for a second here? You're seeing that correctly. They get their damage buffed by Ming. That's 13 damage times 8. Hence why everything is melting, even elite army tactics units. Recon, he just needs to take this a little bit slower, right? He's going to be fine. Scrimmers are arriving to try and trade him out. I mean, funnily enough, actually, if he just uses, like, Divine Defense, then he could snipe out on the Scrimmers here. Instead, it looks like he's going to lose them. Because, you know, why win a game straight away, right? Like, I mean, it makes sense. Recon wants to keep his elo high. Best way to keep his elo high, just stay in this game that he's eventually going to win. Don't risk queuing into Dimmu. It's not worth it. Oh my god, this game is never going to end. Do I use the 2 times speed? But wait, KP, were you not already using the 2 times speed? Look at how quick those Palace Guard are. Ah, there. God, he's going for a wonder. I don't know if that makes me feel any better, Crackety. He's just stonewalling everywhere right now, and it's happening. We're getting them. Dynastic Protectors on the way. Interesting. Now, if this was just men-at-arms, I'd be pogifying right now, but like your opponent's built crossbows. Why are you going Dynastic Protectors? Remember, he's about to build a bunch of Imperial Guards. And it's not going to be as much as it's going to be. It's going to be a bit clowny, right? Because like building these guys against mass crossbows, not the cleanest solution. Yeah, but you know, we don't build Yuan Raiders because we like to win games, right? Wow, that was some shade at Yuan Raiders. Wait, does anyone actually think Yuan Raiders are good? One's in chat if you think Yuan Raiders are good. I think they're good if your opponent has trade. I don't know, like, I feel like you just, if you're against villagers, usually... Okay, you guys really think they're that great? Nah, dude. I think Imperial Guards. If you're against villagers, I think Imperial Guards. Okay, yes, they're way better than Horsemen. But, like, in this type of game... I think my biggest hate for them is they literally have one roll and one roll only. And if you know they're coming, you just stonewall. It's like, for me, usually the problem is I feel like Yuan Raiders get one shot and then someone stonewalls. Yeah, but like the argument that this is a very specific game, okay, but in most games you just don't even go for Dynastic Protectors, right? In most games you argue, oh yeah, no, 10,000 bolts would be better. Or, oh yeah, no, actually Cloud of Terror would work better. I mean, the only one you're going to argue never works is Roar of Dragon, because we like to win games, and this is literally the worst tech in the entire Juji arsenal. I actually think the Juji tech that gets slept on way too much is Advanced Administration. Right? Like, anyone else feel that? I feel like this gets passed over way too often. You think it sucks? In a gold limited game, you think this sucks? Getting 2 extra taxmen running around. Well, you think the issue is you just don't have enough tax to exploit it? Pass guard, marching out. Bye-bye outpost. And all of a sudden, a winning fight turns into a losing one. Yeah, I guess that's fair. You're probably not going to have extra gold to exploit, right? Is Juji's library like the most underwhelming landmark then? Because like, it's almost like at that point they're intentionally pushing you towards Dynastic Protectors, right? Because, and I get why. I think I've said this before, that it's almost like the lack of hand cannoneers is intentional design to make Juji a cavalry-based imp civ while China's an infantry-based one, right? And yeah, we've got a lot of Imperial Guards coming. This is going to wallop pretty hard. Remember, you might say Ming Dynasty is OP. No, 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 no. Divine Charge is OP. Remember, these things scale. So Ming plus Divine Charge is where this gets absurd. And yeah, 30 melee armor up against men-at-arms. Oh, I feel so bad for Roger right now. He's literally sitting here like, yeah, I'm good. And, yeah, this is great. Look at me. I'm winning the fight. I've got an aura. I'm dunking on him right now. You hear that? That's the funky beats I'm putting out from my English base. By the time he reaches the Juji base, it's going to be 50 Imperial Guards. Look at the damage. The lance hit almost one hits a textiled villager. 43 damage per strike. In 2 seconds, they will deal 109 damage. Wait, have we not got biology yet? I don't think we've even got biology. Yeah, no, I remember when it was like when it first came out. And remember, that is a 1 pop unit. Like, and remember, like, statistically, compare that to a cataphract, right? Like, it's a better cataphract. It only costs 280 resources. Surprise revealed. Cloud of Terror is also coming in. So we've got Bombard, Imperial Guard. Even rhymes. I mean, I don't want to suggest Byzantine should get a buff, but the fact that this is just an outright better cataphract in every perceivable way. While costing less. Alright, Roger. What have we got left? It's hand cannoneer time. I don't think that is long-term sustainable, but let's give it a go, Hoss. Wait, he's actually getting Military Affairs Bureau? Who does that? Oh, we didn't mention the fact that trade is going on, if it wasn't apparent yet. I mean, I just don't mention it in recon games. If you're past 35 minutes and recon's in the game, he's definitely trading. 28 traders online right now. Yeah, this is why you need that extra taxman, Krakeny, to walk all the way out here. And I wonder, like, I actually think maybe they do need to tweak. Well, Roar the Dragon just needs to work correctly. It's just broken. It doesn't work correctly. Advanced Administration, like, what could they change that to do? Maybe some sort of unique extra thing an Imperial official can do, a different option. I'm trying to think what you do, though. Make them spies. They can go and steal gold from the enemy team. We're red alert 2 now. I figured it out. How do you break this now if you're Roger, though? Because the other problem is the Bombards. Like, if he uses Divine Defense occasionally, he can stay on the edge of Springwood range, so it's very difficult to catch him. Oh. The perfect GG late game comp. Hand candy nums climb, but I don't think they're going to climb quick enough here. Biology is in, folks. Siege work's also on the way. These Bombards, look at the damage straight away. Siege in trouble, though. Looks like they've been let loose. Imperial Guards around the back. Bombard's not dying quick enough. Springle's already removed. And Roger Scruton about to be removed forcibly from Rocky River. He has 33 more in queue. Yeah, we gotta do it. Delete the villages. I need double-digit Imperial Guards in my life. Emperor Sidious, I can hear him moaning and groaning in the background. The Empire is truly alive in this one. I don't know what he does now. Roger's pretty much out of gold. There's no way you can reboom hand cannoneers at this point. And he hasn't really got the attack speed aura, but guys, I'm looking at one part of the fight. Look at everywhere else. The guards are in. What are they guarding, you may ask? A corpse. We finally figured out why the Imperial Guards in Star Wars are so bad. See, they're shooting from distance. That's where these guys got it right. Get up and close and personal, you can't miss. Oh, this is brutal. You wait 41 minutes to die like this.